Okay, here we are in Photoshop. So this is the character that we created inside of Firefly. It did not have a lot of luck putting this into a T-pose. It did not have a lot of luck showing me the front and the back of the image and different things. Again, I feel like the tools in Adobe are great, but could be a little better. One thing that is cool, there are some really AI assisted tools that are fantastic these days inside of Photoshop. So things like selecting an object are kind of auto done for you. That would normally have taken me hours and hours and hours. So here, all I can do is select object and then select the bear. And now I have this bear all selected. Now it is worth noting, I might want to zoom in. I can already see it looks like it missed a spot here. This tool works really well. However, it is not flawless. And if there's a spot where you have some flyaways, or like this, for example, it created for some reason this claw a little lighter, it seems to have kind of missed it. So I'm going to use just this quick selection tool to grab it and just check the rest of the edge of my bear. I think that's fine. I don't really care about that so much. All right, looks pretty good. So then I'm just going to hit Control C to copy this and Control V to put it on its own layer. So here you can see I have that bear all by itself. Now, this is where we can start playing with those generative tools inside of Photoshop if we wanted to kind of modify this picture. So there are lots of really cool stuff, tools and things that we can do with this. So for example, I have this bear, I've removed it from the background, it's all by itself. Looks pretty good. I'm going to reselect the bear. Now that that's on its own layer, that's super easy. I can just hold on Control and click on the thumbnail. And again, I have all the pixels on that layer selected. So now that I have the bear selected, I'm going to go up to Image, and I'm going to just go to Select, I guess, actually, and invert my selection. So inverse right here. So I have everything that's not the bear selected. Now, I will say, if this doesn't look good around the edge of the bear, there is a trick you can do to help. And for that, I can go to Select and modify this selection, either by telling it to, grow the selection a little bit, or or going to modify, or even select a mask, so I have even more tools to play with. So right now, if I wanted to, I could shrink the selection just a little bit and get the edge of the bear selected, okay? I have found sometimes when you're generating a background, this can help it blend a little better. It works pretty good most of the time without doing this, so it's kind of up to you whether you want to do this trick or not. But I could do, for example, just expand this, expand the selection a little bit. Maybe I'll do, 2 pixels and just kind of bring it in a little bit, all right? And we'll see how that works. So now, if we come up here and we just select the image here, and I actually have this thing docked. It was on my other monitor, so I was like, where'd it go? So here we can see I just have the Move tool selected, and I have the option of doing a generative fill. This tool is awesome. It is one that I have begun to work all the time with inside of Photoshop. So let's just tell it what kind of setting we want this bear warrior in. So for example, let's say we wanted to be a fantasy tavern full of whimsical animal characters. And let's see what we get. Generate. Now this does take some time, so I found that depending on the time of day, because I think it's kind of processing it all in the cloud, not on your computer, as far as I'm aware, it kind of works. So here we go. You can see now I have the background generated. What's cool is it'll actually give you 3 generations. You don't see them by default. You have to click up here, but you can choose whether you like that background, this one. Now you can tell it does look like it affected some of the edging of my bear. Here the ears got kind of wonky. So that one looks really nice actually, or here. So you can see it did affect a little bit of the edging This one looks really nice. So I feel like this really fits the bear. If I didn't like it, I could hit generate again and try creating a different background. What's really cool is the lighting and everything from the bear gets kind of pulled into the generation. So this generative fill tool is so neat. You could also even do something like here. I'm using the crop tool. So normally we could, let's say we wanted to make this picture bigger. I could grab the edge and kind of pull it out, or even up a little bit if I wanted to. And I could click generative expand and tell it what we want. Fantasy tavern with let's see, fox barmaid. Let's see what we get here. And it's going to basically use that same tool, but again, it's going to build on that image and it's going to expand out based on that image. I found this is where the generative tools work pretty well because, again, giving it something to build off of tends to work a little bit better. So I definitely didn't add our barmaid character in here, but kind of pulled out the tavern. There's a little bit of a fox character thing here. So you can see it looks pretty good. Again, if we want to add in our character, it looks like it added fox ears to my bear. That's weird. So I definitely going to need to modify that a little bit. But here's where something else this does that's pretty neat is, so let's pick this one, which is pretty close except for these weird ears. It created this generative fill on its own layer with a layer mask. So I could go in here and let's say start painting with my tool. So let's zoom in here. So it doesn't look like it's really liking that very much. All right. Yeah, okay. Control Z. So that's not going working very well. Let's just go ahead and do it the old school way. Just get rid of this layer mask and we'll just erase it. So I'll just use my eraser tool. Again, we want a nice blurry eraser there. And change our size down. And I'm just going to, go ahead and convert that smart object. So we can start fixing it now. Looks like I'm undoing that a little bit. Maybe my size either needs to go down or my hardness needs to go up a bit because I definitely don't want to get the top there. And again, I'm kind of putting it there. It looks like that hardness was too hard, huh? All right, so again, we're working in Photoshop. This kind of, going back to kind of those roots of Photoshop. But there are ways to kind of fix maybe the weirdness here. It doesn't like multiple layers. So let's do this. Let's add this all to one layer so we can fix that spot pretty good. And we'll just go up to edit. This is one of my favorite tricks is I'll do copy, merge, and paste. And now I have a new layer that is everything you can see kind of put together. Now I can use kind of this spot healing tool to fix that weird darkness around those ears. Or if I felt like this went too close to his head, I could erase it, although I don't know what to do there otherwise. So I'll probably leave it. So we're looking pretty good. Now, again, we could try to generate our character over here or behind the bar and see what we get. But you kind of see, this kind of becomes more of a matter of, generating elements, fixing elements, and generating things you want. If you don't want something, one thing that's really neat too is I can use generative fill with nothing in it and click generate, and it will do its best guess of filling what should be in that spot. This is a wonderful way to remove objects and have it look like they never existed. So you can see, boom, that's gone. And again, it recreates the whole scene basically in that spot. So if I didn't want this weird snake thing, I don't know what the heck that thing is. Again, I can just select it and do generative fill. Don't put anything in there and just let it go. And it will remove the object, but kind of do its best to make it look like it never existed. Again, this is one of the best. Again, just selecting stuff and hitting that has worked really, really well. Okay, so we got our character in here. We got our pub scene. We could try to generate our other character in here. Let's see if we can get it to work. Maybe I'll put her behind the bar if it'll let me. And let's try it, okay? So we'll say, Fantasy D&D Fox Bar. We'll do Tender. Cleaning the bar with a rag. See what we get. Again, while these tools can be really great, modifying little things, making small adjustments is really where they probably shine the most. But you can see it's having trouble here. Closer. This one's not, well, it's kind of disturbing, but we could see it. Let's see if it'll let us pick the head. I don't hate some of it. It's a little disturbing, a lot of it, but let's go ahead and grab maybe just this part, and we'll do, let's see. Let's see what we get here. I will say the Adobe tools need some work here. Well, it's not. Ooh. We're getting warmer, but this is disturbing as all out. Maybe we'll go ahead and just try selecting this, and we'll just start over, huh? All right, we'll try it one more time, then we'll just give it a go. We'll call it done, whether it's good or not. I feel it's looking rough. It's funny, again, these tools do some things really much better than others. Okay. All right, I think we're going to have to use another tool to create our bartender and drop them in, because this is not getting better. I think maybe it's getting worse, but at least you get a chance to kind of look at these tools. They do some pretty neat things. They do not work as well as some of the other generators we're going to go with. I love they're built in. Again, removing objects using that generative fill to remove something is like magic, but these are all really rough looking. Again, it created the scene pretty well. It put the character in the scene really well. These tools are fantastic, and they're only going to get better. You know, while this is rough, I could use another tool to create a character and try to put them in there, and use some of the Photoshop tools to blend them. I've been using Photoshop tools to blend different pictures together for a million years. That's kind of where Photoshop, you know, shines. So, you know, these tools are going to get even better as they evolve, and I hope you enjoy using them and make some fun pictures that hopefully turn out better than this one. All right, thanks for watching.